Good morning. Good morning. That's better. I am El Devo, the Master of Ceremonies for this morning's proceedings. Ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to please stand for the entrance of the platform guests, teachers, and the class of 2022. Please remain standing for the national anthem. This will be followed by the invocation by Kalia Dames, Senior Class President.
Let us pray. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Loving and gracious God, we, the class of 2022, bring ourselves before your throne of grace this morning. We come with grateful hearts for the gifts you have bestowed upon us. We thank you for those who have been significant in our growth and development during this period of formation. We thank you for our parents, our teachers, and the administration of Aquinas College, who are there to support us, to coach us, to discipline us. Lord, as we prepare to lead this hallowed space, we say thank you and ask that you will continue to be with us as we transition to another part of this journey called life. This prayer we offer in the name of God, the Father, Jesus the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Amen. In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Say no, Mr. Aquinas.
Teach us goodness, discipline, and knowledge.
Platform guests and other guests, you may be seated. Teachers and graduates are to remain standing for the torchlight ceremony. The torchlight ceremony is an Aquinas College tradition. The passing on of the torch to the incoming seniors who are entrusted to carry it high for all to see. Ladies and gentlemen, the torchlight ceremony.
We, the members of the Prefect Body 2021-2022, do hereby surrender to you, the Prefect Body 2022-2023, these as symbols of your positions and responsibilities as prefects, and hereby charge you to carry out these offices with all the respect they deserve.
We, the Prefect Body elect for 2022-2023, do accept our offices and do promise to carry out our duties with respect and dignity these offices deserve, so far as we are able.
To the juniors, we offer the torch of loyalty and truth with the wish that its light may lead to noble endeavors and deeds worthy of God's commendation.
Eagerly, we accept the torch of loyalty and truth, promising to carry it high so that its light may shine before all men. Archbishop Patrick C. Pinder, Archbishop of Nassau, Father Jonathan Duca, pastor of Our Lady of the Souls Church and school chaplain, Mr. Lambert Longley, chairman of the Catholic Board of Education, Mr. Ronaldo Toot, attorney at law, alumni, and guest speaker, Mrs. Janelle Albley, director of development, Mrs. Shauna Knowles, principal, Mr. Marcel T. Sherman, vice principal, Mr. Covance Mortimer, dean of students, Ms. Leandra Kelly, senior mistress, Ms. Mikia Mason, guidance counselor, other distinguished guests, teachers, parents, and graduating class of 2022, a pleasant good morning, and welcome to the commencement exercise of the class of 2022. To bring the school's report for the year 2021-2022, Ms. Shauna Knowles, principal.
Archbishop Pinder, Mr. Longley, Chairman of the Catholic Board of Education, and Mrs. Claudette Roll, Director of Catholic Education, other platform guests, ladies and gentlemen, the class of 2022, a pleasant good morning. Sound check, 1, 2, 3. Mic check, 1, 2, 3. The chief recording engineer was now ready for recording. So the large doors to the 21st century expansive recording studio on the plains of Gladstone Road were flung open. As the eager recording artists and musicians were about to file into the studio, she assured her team of engineers that another 6-year Grammy Award Platinum album was in the making. The engineer instructed her team of security guards to man the entrance and deny access to all uninvited fans. Bubbling with excitement, Joel was the first to enter with the usual pep in his step. Mesmerized by the elaborate interior and the possible financial increase in studio time, Symphony, who seemed glued at the entrance, quickly exclaimed, "I can't afford this." Totally ignoring her comments, Leslie, Terrell, and Galen, AKA the Three Stooges, whisked past her as they were not about to miss this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The inseparable buddies were next: Joshua and Danielle, Azaria and Janiyah, Rael and Sadeja, and of course, the two Ethans following foot to foot behind Francesco bounced into the studio. The engineer took roll call, only to find some members missing. Where's Zaria? No worry, Jade and Calista knew she was in the restroom, trying her best to replace the broken louvers in the bathroom stall door. So they hastened to get her. On their return to the studio, they motioned to Jasmine, who was sitting on her favorite bench, lost in her crochet world. With his golf club in hand, they dragged Anton, aka Tiger Woods, from the putting green. They also shouted to our future NBA players, Irvin and Tatum, who were in the calf trying to convince Aaron not to engage in a mashed potato war with Kalia. As he was about to close the studio doors, the security spotted Adrian, aka Bush Mechanic, under a parked car with a pen and pencil permanently tucked behind each ear. He also had to summon Antonio, who was massaging his hair with his infamous plastic bag, desperately hoping to achieve some large tsunami waves. Antonio, save yourself some time and just ask Deron and Teron, our grade 7 wacky day bow tie and suspended twins, for the remedy. Then there was one final call. As the door was about to close, in struts the wannabe bodybuilder Doyle, followed closely by Chloe, the group's chef and caterer, with food in tow, of course. Slam. The doors were tightly shut. Unfortunately, the gamers, Carlos and Jacoby, lost in a game of Fortnite, never made it to the recording. Neither did Toriano, Evisha, and the Higgs Way marathon runner, Kishana. They were late again. Once the doors were closed, the in-studio time began. Before Malaysia had an opportunity to ask any questions, Leah, the group's accountant, sternly reminded the members to keep on task because time was money. With all assembled, the singing parts were assigned. Ashad, Lionel Messi's understudy, was diligently warming up his vocals. He was sure he and his Gambia soccer crew of Joshua and Junior would secure the lead singing part. That was not to be, as the sound engineer selected Nazia, the group's songbird, as the soloist. The trio of Kirsty, Ariana, and Charisma were her supporting vocals. To no one's surprise, Eliza, Raven, Talia, Alicia, Lalik, Willard, Zamario, Taranik, Mark Anthony, Haley, and Kamara was assigned as her quiet backup singers. The duets, Kalisa and Raven, Alyssa and Kalis, Brendan and Tanaya, and Kalia and Ashton, were informed by the chief engineer that her job was to produce Grammy Award records and not marriage certificates. Earl and Shiloh, the instrumentalists, laughed uncontrollably at the engineer's comment, but their laughter was short-lived when Kantra and Christinique gave them a subtle slap reminder. The engineer asked McKaylin, aka the IMAX celebrity, to rap. He agreed to do so only if it did not conflict with Senora's Spanish class. On the other hand, Angel, the Maya Angelou in the group, insisted on reciting her poem during the musical interlude. Knowing they could not carry a tune, even if it were in a bucket, Tamia, being careful not to fall again from the chair, and Brianna, the Michelangelos in the class, opted to design the album's cover. With all parts assigned and housekeeping behind us, the unbelievable rich sounds engulfed the studio for 6 sessions. What a melodious sound it was. Everyone sang their part, and at the end of the day, the Grammy Award Platinum album, Unmasked, was recorded. It was released on June 23rd, 2022, and is an automatic hit on the charts. Marciello, your dream is finally a reality. Take your time and glide down the red carpet at the Grammy Awards. Instagram, here she comes. I now wish to take this time to highlight some of the Grammy record-breaking feats of the class of 2022. As a school community where excellence is our habit, we celebrate you. You have been active participants in your educational journey. Despite the pandemic, many of you have availed yourselves of the opportunities to participate in clubs, debates, essays, art, science, video, and sporting competitions. This morning, 25 members of this class have earned 5 or more BGCSEs at grade 11. We commend Shiloh, Jasmine, Tyron, and Deron, who achieved 9 BGCSEs in grade 11. Your performance on the 2021 national examination raised the excellence bar. As a result, this academic year, Aquinas College offered 11 advanced placement subjects: AP Calculus, AP English, AP Psychology, AP Microeconomics, AP Biology, Physics and Chemistry, AP Computer Science, AP Music Theory, AP 2D Art and 3D Art. 38 of you enrolled in these advanced placement classes. Your classmates, Jasmine and Ashard, are the first AP computer students, while Shiloh, Deron, Jasmine, and Tyron are co-salutatorian, and Jade, our valedictorian, are the first group of students to sit 6 AP subjects in one sitting. Our head boy, Tyron Strapp, is the first 11th grader to pass 9 BGCSE examinations in one sitting, earning 8 A's and 1 C. The Ministry of Education recognized him for this achievement and also named him as the top 2021 BGCSE auto mechanic candidate. Tyron, and Jasmine were the first 8th grade students to participate in the World Scholars Cup competition. Shiloh, Evisha, Tyron, and Jasmine have competed in Spain, Australia, and at Yale University. Their stellar performance in this prestigious global academic competition brought international and national fame to Aquinas College and the Bahamas. Shiloh's intellectual bragging rights continued when he became the first Aquinas College student to score 1380 out of 1600 on his SAT examination. The pandemic may have paused some things during your 12th grade year, but it's never failed to ignite that internal desire to compete and excel in the many external competitions. Shiloh and Tamia received honorable mention and $500 each for their entries in the 2021 Central Bank Art Competition. Shiloh and his teammate, 11th grader Ashley Love, placed first in the 2020 Honorable Justice Stephen Isaacs Debate Competition. Tyron, and Jasmine, the powerhouse debate winners in Spain and Australia and Yale, placed first in the Western Division BAISS debate competition and second in the 2022 National High School debate competition. Tyron, the co-salutatorian in the Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Award Program, and Deron were offered scholarships to Virginia State and Tuskegee universities. Jade represented Aquinas in the Alpha Kappa Alpha Award ceremony and is the recipient of a full scholarship to Virginia State University. Jade and Jasmine were also the recipients of the Women in STEM Scholarship from the College of St. Benedict. This year, 20 students in this class were offered 50% scholarships to attend St. John's University and the College of St. Benedict. Shiloh and Jasmine were the 2021 Templeton Laws of Life video competition winners, while Anton and Evisha placed third. We also commend Zaria, who won third place, and Jade, who received honorable mention in the senior division of the 2022 Templeton Laws of Life essay competition. Congratulations to our deputy head boy, Anton McDonald, who serves as the international trustee for Key Club International. He has made history as the only male and the first Bahamian student to be elected to the international board. Anton's historic first place finish in the 2022 National High School Golf Tournament makes him the Tiger Woods of this class. Last but not least, congratulations to our head boy and co-salutatorian, Tyron Strapp, who has been shortlisted for the prestigious 2022 All Bahamas Merit Scholarship. Congratulations, Tyron, on this accomplishment. This morning, class of 2022, you graduate as a decorated, distinguished, and accomplished class. 48 out of 70, or 68% of you, have earned honor roll status with a GPA of 3.0 to 3.95. Young ladies, you continue to soar. However, today, your class statistics show that 50% of the young men in this class graduate as honor students. Because we seem to be losing our young men in so many different ways, let us applaud the 32 young men in this class for adopting excellence as a habit. Congratulations, class of 2022. 96% of you will graduate with diplomas. "90% of this class has been accepted into local and international universities and colleges. To date, this class has secured over $500,000 in scholarship funds. The competition in this class was so fierce that today you graduate with 2 co-salutatorians. Class of 2022, your hard work and dedication have paid off. After many arduous hours in the recording studio, you finally released your unique Platinum Grammy Award album, Unmasked. However, be forever mindful that your hit album is a reality because of the love and support of your dedicated and committed parents, administrators, and teachers. You are eternally indebted to them. I offer a heartfelt thank you to them on your behalf. Many persons play a vital role in making Aquinas College an academic institution where excellence is a habit. I am grateful for the steadfast support of Archbishop Pinder, Mr. Lonely, and the Catholic Board of Education, and Mrs. Claudette Roll, Director of Catholic Education. to Mrs. Albury, Mrs. Woods, Dr. Bowe, Mr. Sherman, Mr. Mortimer, Ms. Kelly, and Ms. Mason, a heartfelt thank you for all your support and encouragement in the studio. Thank you to my dedicated faculty, office, and support staff for being great engineers in and out of the studio. I wish to say happy retirement to Mr. Sherman, Ms. Watkins, and Mrs. Cargill, and farewell to Ms. Abby Smith and Mr. Shelby McPhee. We thank you for your dedication and hard work. Please know that the campus will not be the same without you. We will miss you. Your Aquinas College family wishes you God's richest blessings in your new pursuits. Parents of the class of 2022, thank you for entrusting your children to the Aquinas College award-winning recording studio. This morning, you will collect your royalties. Therefore, I invite you to turn on your iTunes and listen to the Grammy-winning sound of 70 united, noble men and women soaring academically with enthusiasm and a drive for success. Enjoy the sounds of Unmasked 22. My dear class of 2022. Your time in the recording studio on Gladstone Road has ended. Your released album is #1 on the charts because your enriched educational experience has poured goodness, discipline, and knowledge into your very beings. With Veritas as your mantra, prepare to write new lyrics and take a leap as solo artists. I encourage you to venture forth embodied with the 8 characteristics of the Catholic school graduate. Finally, I implore you to remain Christ-centered and character-driven. Always, always, always make excellence your habit. And remember, the end will always tell what the middle was doing. Congratulations. God bless you. I love you.
Whoa, look at the time. The class of 2022 will now sing their theme song, Man in the Mirror.
disregard somebody's broken heart and a one-up soul. They follow the path and you know, 'cause they got no place to go. That's why I want you to know I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways, and no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make the change. Na 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 na. I've been a victim of a selfish kind of love. It's time that I realize I'm a son with no home, not looking so long. Could it be really me pretending that they're not alone? Oh, willow deeply scarred, somebody's broken heart and a washed out tree. They follow the pattern of the wind, you see, 'cause they got no place to be. That's why I'm starting with me. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways, and no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make that change. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways, and no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make that. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways, and no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make the change. You gotta get it right. Now you got the mind, gotta close your mind. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways, and no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make that change.
You all made Mr. Sherman proud. You should have heard him just told me what he... Boy, I gonna miss you, Mr. Sherman. Mr. Ronaldo Jamal Toot was born in New Providence on September 13, 1986. Mr. Toot commenced his educational journey at Our Ladies Primary School and thereon attended Aquinas College High School, home of the Aces. After graduating high school, he attended the College of the Bahamas and in 2005 graduated with an Associates of Arts degree in Law and Criminal Justice. During the same year, Mr. Toot joined the ranks of the Royal Bahamas Police Force and was awarded the Baton of Honor, an achievement bestowed upon the most outstanding police recruit. Mr. Toot was assigned to the Drug Enforcement Unit as an intelligence officer, where he had many successes, including most firearm seizures in a year. In 2008, Mr. Toot decided to further his education and pursue his lifelong dream of becoming an attorney and enrolled in the Bachelor's of Law program at the University of the West Indies. Upon attaining his law degree in 2011, Mr. Toot attended the Eugene Dupach Law School and successfully obtained his legal education certificate. Mr. Toot was admitted as a barrister at the Bahamas Legal Bar on the 1st of November 2013 and was fortunate to have conducted his legal pupillage under the prestige of the late Chief Justice Sir Stephen Isaacs and Justice Ian Winder, Justices of the Supreme Court. He is a former legal associate of Carlson H. Sherlin, QC, in Freeport, Grand Bahama. He also served as a legal advisor in the Office of the Commissioner of Police. In 2019, Mr. Toot was appointed Assistant Registrar of the Supreme Court, Northern Region, and later transferred to New Providence, where he was promoted as Deputy Registrar of the Supreme Court with supervisory responsibility of the probate registry and court administration. His vast experience and knowledge keeps him craving more opportunities as he maintains the notion, success is a journey, not a destination. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ronaldo Toot.
Thank you. I stand on the protocol already established. Notwithstanding, this is Catholic education, so I still make special distinction to His Grace, the Most Reverend Patrick Pinder, Archbishop of the Catholic Diocese of Nassau. Good morning, sir. Good morning. We are here for one purpose and one reason, to celebrate the class, the graduating class of not 2020, but 2022. Congratulations. I'm honored and grateful for the invitation to join you today as you close this chapter of your life and commence on what I coined as the most fragile paradigm shift. For those that's unfamiliar with the terminology, a paradigm shift is a dramatic new way of thinking or seeing something. It often happens when the standard of method or thinking of doing something is replaced by something new and eventually adopted. Tomorrow you will no longer be high school students, but graduates. Notwithstanding the fact that most of you have not attained the legal age of majority to be considered an adult, there's a social expectation as graduates, your thinking and behavioral pattern should coincide and resemble that of a mature young adult, one who makes wise and conscientious decisions. When you leave the walls of high school, your safety net and protective shield is removed. At times, society often forgets and dismisses the fragility of any inexperience associated with your youthfulness, even though it's germane to this new renaissance. Does this mean that there's an expectation that your margin of error for making wrong decisions should be low? Perhaps. But these are today's societal pressures, which for many of you will become your reality tomorrow. I was taught, watch your words, watch your thoughts, for they become words. Watch your words, for they become actions. Watch your actions, for they become habits. And watch your habits, for they become your character. And if you don't watch your character, they will eventually become your destiny. Graduates, there's a whole world out there waiting for your brilliance, your creativity, and your dare to be different. You were taught to have faith, to be of service, and to be on the ever-constant pursuit of excellence. And what a powerful theme you have chosen. Faith, service, excellence. You cannot have faith without first recognizing that your mindset matters. As you leave the halls of high school, where you were sheltered, you have had some level of liberty, but most often than not, you were acting under the instructions or supervisions of your parents. As you approach the intersection of paradigm way, challenges will certainly come. You will try new things. You will take risks that many of you will not fully understand the consequential effects of. All of this is a part of the journey of success. While this next fact is something you probably don't want to hear right now, the reality is, graduates, you will fail at some point in your life. You will lose, and there will be embarrassing moments. These things are inevitable. But here's the silver lining. Which one of us haven't? The American inventor, Thomas Edison, failed 999 times before getting it right on the 1,000th time. This invention would become what we now know today to be the light bulb. Walt Disney, the owner and creator of Disney World, out of all people, was told that he lacked creativity. Milton Hershey had 3 companies before finally getting it right with Hershey's chocolate. Who don't like Hershey's chocolate? Oprah Winfrey, before she was even known as Oprah, was fired from her job on TV as a news anchor and was told that she was not the right fit for television. All of these I've mentioned were great minds, pioneers, leaders, whose names, notwithstanding their many failures and defeats, are synonymous with success. When you fail, graduates, recognize it as an integral part of the success formula and be prepared to get back up. Fix your mind on what is good and what is right. Remain faithful, full of determination to overcome. But don't just keep the faith in your own ability to press on and to push beyond, but keep the faith in the one true God who has kept you to this point and who will continue to keep you through your lowest and certainly the highest points in your life. In 2012, I did my legal internship at the Supreme Court with one of the High Court judges. I was very excited and esteemed to have been working with the judge. I bragged about it to my fellow classmates, and I rubbed it in their faces. In retrospect, I should have done that. But to my dismay, the feeling of nostalgia was not reciprocal with the judge of whom I was selected to work with. In fact, when I met him, he was very dismissive and detested the idea of a law student assisting him with any research. He was so displeased with the notion that I was assigned to him that he gave me a case file that he had sitting on his desk. It had been there for many, many months. In fact, I had to work on that one case file for my entire internship, never to meet with that judge again. I was deflated, especially after I'd already bragged to my family and friends I would be working side by side with a high court judge. In my delusion, I would have been sitting at the feet of justice, observing every ounce of legal proficiency that my small cranium could contain. Certainly, I was poised to be the next Johnny Cochran of the Bahamas. Nevertheless, I made up my mind that I would remain determined to perform to my most optimal capacity. I proceeded to examine the old case file handed to me, which, by the way, was covered in dust and spider webs. When I read it, my mouth dropped opened. I was flabbergasted. My hands started to shake and sweat profusely. I immediately began panicking. The judge had assigned me one of the most difficult case files that was highly debatable in the Supreme Court and was being observed by the entire Caribbean region. It was a matter of constitutionality, determining whether or not a foreign judge could swear the Bahamas' oath of allegiance in order to become a Supreme Court judge or a judge of the Court of Appeal without denouncing their foreign citizenship of their home country. And at the time, we had multiple judges in the Bahamas at both the Supreme Court and the Court of Appeal level with whom this decision would immediately affect. The legality surrounding this issue was so convoluted with legal uncertainty that it was challenged by a Queen's Counsel, a distinction bestowed upon the best legal jurists for their legal expertise and acumen. Every Caribbean country was closely monitoring this case and awaiting the findings of this ruling, as a foreign judge sits in every high court in every Caribbean jurisdiction. I lamented, why would he do this to me? Why? My final grade depended on this. I was a first-year law student without any legal experience. to examine the submissions of a Queen's Counsel of more than 30 years courtroom experience. Why? I cried in the hallway. I hyperventilated. His secretary held me and spoke to me and said, "This is your opportunity to show them who you are. Just do your best." In hindsight, I look at her like, what foolishness are you talking about? But it took me 3 months of research, 60 days of late hours, and over $300 worth of long-distance phone calls, and that was a lot of money for a law student, and countless trips to the law library, and I finally submitted my findings, never to hear from that judge again during my internship. I returned to bar school to complete my final year in hopes of graduating as an attorney. In May 2013, as I proceeded to take my final exam, papers were distributed by the examiner when the principal walked into class while I was writing my name on the exam sheet. Standing sternly at the entrance door, in a commanding voice, she said, "Excuse me, class, but Ronaldo Toots, before you begin, I need to see you." It was deja vu all over again. My hands started trembling, heart rate accelerating, and my body nervous. What did I do? I didn't cheat. My tuition was paid in full, unlike when I was in Aquinas. Why is she singling me out? As I met her outside the examination door, her demeanor quickly changed to one filled with excitement. I was confused. She asked, "Do you have any job offers upon graduating?" I said, "No, ma'am." In her lack of containment, she quickly told me that she had received a call from the registrar of the Supreme Court, who informed her that one of the High Court judges made a decision on a long outstanding controversial constitutional matter, which had international ramifications on the employability of foreign judges to sit in the High Court. And during the delivery of the decision, the presiding judge gave acknowledgement to a law student on impressively being able to decipher and identify the legal anomalies associated with the matter, which ably influenced his decision. With that said, I was offered a position in the Supreme Court to become a judicial research counsel with the duties of writing legal opinions to judges of the Supreme Court. 9 years later, graduates, I can stand before you as the Deputy Registrar of the Supreme Court of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. The moral of that story is that you cannot remain faithful without perseverance to endure. James chapter 1 says, "When trials and tribulations come your way, consider it great joy. For when your faith is tested, your endurance has the ability to grow." I now turn to the word service. We are all blessed with talents. Some of you a bit more than others, as eloquently expounded by the principal a few minutes ago. But we all have something that makes us different, something that makes us stand out from the crowd, if only we recognize and develop it. But what we will do with what you have is what really matters. What will you do with your gift? Whatever you decide, wherever your heart and your mind leads you, remember this: be of service to yourself, your family, and even your community. I take you to Colossians chapter 3, verse 23. And it states, "Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord and not human masters." This brings me to the word excellence. Graduates, ensure that you are on the constant pursuit of excellence. Aspire to have your story inspire. Be so good at doing your best and being of service to yourself and your community, aiming to be the best at whatever it is that you do, that your excellence will be undeniable. I reference one of our very own Bahamians, Shawnee Miller-Ubo. In 2016, her Olympic win, the photo finish that was seen around the world, was a moment that will forever be talked about in the track and field world. While we here at home celebrated her victory, there was certainly some who questioned, what if she didn't fall or took the dive? Did she deserve it? The critics questioned the validity of a championship. They even questioned whether or not she deserved it. Shawnee Miller endured doubt and unqualified validation. As fate would have it, 5 years later at Tokyo Olympics, the same two who brought about the photo finish would have their rematch. This time, there would be no room for error, no room for confusion, no room for doubt as to who the champion would be. This time, Shawnee would leave her competitors meters upon meters behind. As she crossed the finish line, her constant and relentless pursuit of excellence placed her at the top once again. Now, I'm not saying that you have to be an Olympian in search of gold, but what I am saying is that you should work hard and constantly push to become the best at whatever it is that you do. A good friend of mine often tells of a story of his own pursuit of excellence and faith to be the best. He was forced to repeat a grade level in preschool. Preschool. Who repeats preschool? He did. The teachers told his mother he couldn't read, so he had to stay back a year. But he had a mother who functioned on faith, who instilled in him that the need to be excellent matters. Fast forward about 2 decades later, and he made a name for himself, serving as the news anchor for one of the leading television stations in our country. And as fate would have it, he would be paid to do the very same thing that a preschool teacher told him that he was incapable of doing. Years after he was held back because he couldn't read, Kyle Joaquin has gone on to attain an associate's, bachelor's, master's degree in communications. And now, as at August 2022, he will be the newest professor of communications at a distinguished university in America. And in a short few years, he is poised to become Dr. Kyle Joaquin as he pursues his doctorate degree. Graduates, your faith coupled with hard work, your drive of service, and your constant pursuit of excellence will take you places you probably cannot even imagine. But I'll tell you this, differentiate yourself as a true leader. One who did not come here just to take up space, but one who will define their place. I know that may sound a bit confusing, but take a listen and think. When you walk into office spaces, classrooms, boardrooms, wherever your career or your life may take you, ensure that you take your place. Let it be known that you are Aquinas aces, not there to be mediocre, but to be a catalyst for positive change. Now, this is not an excuse of arrogance or pride, but graduates, I want you to recognize your power and act on it. Go out in this world and be great. Pope Francis said that there is peace in the world, yet it is still divided by greed looking for an easy gain. This world has problems, yes, but the truth of it is we need your innovation. We need your tenacity. We need your brilliance to solve the problems that we face. But in solving these issues, we require the whole you, not a part of you. We will require your faith, your service, and your constant pursuit of excellence. Thank you.
That's an ace. Your Grace, it is my distinct honor to present these 71 students for graduation. 96% of them have completed the requirements as set down by the Bahamas Catholic Board of Education and Aquinas College, and will this morning receive diplomas. Ladies and gentlemen, class of 2022, to present the diplomas, His Grace Archbishop Patrick Pender. Sedacia Gibson. Earl Lafleur. Keshana Thompson. Michaelan Connolly. Carlos Lightbourne. Brendan McPhee. Nazia Maycock. Rael Russell. Kalisa Blatch. Antonio Taylor. Willard Seymour. Leslie Ramming. Ethan Baisden. Jacoby Dean Bethel. Joshua Johnson. Joel Wilson. Ethan Burrows. Francesco Higgs. Junior Kelly. Adrian Bow. Lalik Ferguson. Ashton Black. The following students will be are on the honor roll, and this is a cumulative from grades 10 through 12. Talia Cartwright, 3.0. Marcielo Jimenez, 3.06. Taranique Wright, 3.08. Mark Anthony Hart, 3.08. Irvin Wilson, 3.13. Kalia Ingram, 3.14. Zamario Moxie, 3.16. Tayton Hannah, 3.16. Eliza Abarton, 3.18. Terrell DeVoe, 3.19. Carlos Blatch, 3.2. Raven Briggs, 3.22. Toriano Hannah, 3.26. Azaria Fernanda, 3.27. Tamia Adderley, 3.28. Danielle Gabriel, 3.3. Haley Nairn, 3.35. Janaya Taylor, 3.38. Galen Seymour, 3.4. Aaron Simmons, 3.41. Kamara St. Jean, 3.42. Ashad Miller, 3.42. Rayvon Sweeting, 3.43. Kantra Strawn, 3.51. Alyssa Black, 3.51. Tanea Tufi, 3.53. Chloe Larondos, 3.57. Brianna Greenslade, 3.59. Calista Gilbert, 3.6. Leah McCartney, 3.61. Ariana Lockhart, 3.62. Symphony King, 3.62. Alicia Woods, 3.67. Evisha Williams, 3.68. Christinique Ramming, 3.68. Doyle Stowe Jr., 3.69. Kirsty Lewis, 3.73. Malaysia Brown, 3.73. Shiloh Smith, 3.75. Charisma King, 3.75. Dion Strap, 3.82. Zaria Forbes, 3.91. Graduating as class valedictorian, Jade Watkins, 3.95. Senior class vice president, Angel Brown, 3.36. Senior class president, Kalia Dames, 3.54. Deputy head boy, Anton McDonald, 3.63. Graduating as co-salutatorian, head girl, Jasmine Hanna, 3.92. Graduating as co-salutatorian and head boy, T. Ron Strap, 3.92. Thank you, Your Grace. And now I invite Mr. Lambert Longley, Chair of the Bahamas Catholic Board of Education, to present the following academic awards. Receiving the valedictorian and the Sister Jean Patricia Award for Academic Excellence, Jade Watkins. Receiving the co-salutatorian award, head girl, Jasmine Hanna. Receiving the co-salutatorian award, also receiving the Ministry of Education Most Outstanding Academic Performance 2021, receiving 8 A's BGCSE, and Best Performance 2021 BGCSE Auto Mechanics, T-Ron Strap, head boy. Thank you, Mr. Longley. Ladies and gentlemen, proud parents, uncles, aunts, I give you the class of 2022. Let's give them a round. Thank you.
To bring the valedictorian's address, Ms. Jade Watkins, class valedictorian.
Okay. Good morning. I am honored as the 2022 class valedictorian to welcome Archbishop Patrick Pinder, platform guests, invited guests, faculty and support staff, our parents, and the graduating class of 2022 to our commencement ceremony. My fellow classmates, please look at your watches. What time is it? Actually, it's 8:24. Please stand. Unmasked 2022, you have heard this for the last time. You may be seated. We have had 6 long years of training to be the consummate Catholic Board of Education graduate. We are now Christian and patriotic leaders who stood at attention for our national anthem and listened attentively and reverently, most times, to our daily inspiring morning devotions. This daily inspiration has brought us to this day. We have conquered the treacherous but rewarding race that we agreed to be participants of in 2016. Yes, treacherous, because for many of us, it has not been an easy journey. However, because of God's grace and might, we can finally see the finish line. We are here today on the precipice of our future. It is not a distant reality anymore. It begins here. It begins today. Today is the day we win our gold, silver, and bronze medals. When I was told that I had a time limit of 5 to 8 minutes, I thought it would be an impossible task. Why, you may ask? Nearly impossible, because how was I going to speak about an amazing 6 years in such a little time? However, I will try to do my best. About 6 weeks ago, at our Senior Awards Day ceremony, we received our graduation packages and life-changing academic information. By the end of the ceremony, I realized that I had earned the privilege of being the valedictorian of the graduating class of 2022 here at Aquinas College. What an honor and affirmation of my academic career. However, getting here, standing on this stage with this gold stole around my neck has not been easy. I, like my fellow graduates, have endured and persevered through many sleepless nights, academic and personal challenges, self-doubt, and so much more. Over the years, many have questioned my dream of being class valedictorian. It won't matter once you get into the real world, some said, and I started to believe them. There is a video trending about a valedictorian who said that 16 seconds of fame and a 5-minute speech were not worth it. However, I feel thankful and blessed for my 16 seconds of fame and my 5 to 8 minute speech because I can stand here on this stage and say I did it, and the graduating class of 2022 did it as well. We are proud, academically capable scholars of the 21st century. Class of 2022, we are the class that has experienced it all. The good and the bad. The old cafeteria, the new cafeteria, the COVID protocols, IC3 training, World Scholars Cup, tournaments both nationally and internationally, smoke days, the times before the benches, the times before the smart boards and televisions, welcoming our Abaconian brothers and sisters, the introduction of technical drawing, the early seating of exams, the new AP and BGCSE subjects, and how can we ever forget the virtual and hybrid learning platforms. Whether we were in celebration or in deep trouble, one thing I can commend our class for is sticking together. Our administrators and teachers regard us as a class who overcomes any obstacle thrown at us, and we always come on top. This is because we are a class bonded in faith. I hope that each one of us carries this faith throughout our upcoming endeavors and continue to rise above the obstacles that we inevitably face in our life's journey. Thus, all our experiences, the good and the bad, has taught us invaluable lessons of perseverance and resilience. In addition to being resilient, we are a class of service. We will remember the Sundays we spent working along with Mr. Knight to build Aquinas' new greenhouse, the outreach clubs and activities we participated in, such as the Environmental Club and the Red Cross, and the volunteer work we have done are all representations of our service. Not only did we serve our community, but we have also been of service to one another. The class of 2022 is surely a well-rounded class who seeks to not leave anyone behind. Many of us will go on to serve our community as doctors, lawyers, politicians, engineers, fashion designers, teachers, psychologists, thanks to Professor Mason, and others like me who aspire to professionally sell drugs, in a pharmacy, of course. I plan to serve my country with pharmaceutical products and a cure for sickle cell anemia. Shout out to my brother Brando. The motto of Aquinas College is excellence is a habit. In previous years, classes have achieved many things, and because of this, high expectations are always set for the classes of tomorrow. However, in my humble opinion, class of 2022, we have exceeded these expectations, and it is my hope that we continue to be excellent in all that we do. We are a class of individuals with strong opinions, determined to get our point across. May we use this characteristic to be the change in the world that we want to see. Let's take a trip down memory lane, shall we? Do you remember how in Mr. Knight's class, the only thing we never seemed to be successful in was winning a discussion about Leviticus with Mr. Knight? Or how we almost always were successful to convince him why postponing tests were important? I still don't know how Mr. Knight managed to supervise so many wet and hungry children on our field trip to Bonefish Pond. Mr. Knight was not the only teacher who experienced our persistence. Remember all those times we asked Ms. Minnis, when were we going to calculate the derivative in life or find the limit as c squared plus 2 approaches, find the limit of c squared plus 2 as c approaches infinity? We will never forget the in-depth discussions we engaged in with Mr. S. McPhee and the many documentaries we watched and the lengthy papers we spent days writing to ensure that it met all of his criteria. The class of 2022 will surely never forget the most humorous teacher we have all came in contact with, Mr. Boodoo. Whether his jokes were funny or not, he always found a way to twist your mind and make you laugh, even on the toughest days. Do you remember the time I cried because Miss B. Watkins said, period? Inside joke. Although we have only known Miss Mason for a short time, we have made so many interesting memories with her. Her psychology class birthday party, woo! Our AP psychology Easter classes, the times we all annoyed her about knowing our test results, or simply the times we vented to her about our stressful school days. On behalf of your first psychology class here at Aquinas, we thank you, and we will always be your favorite, just saying. I would like to extend a few nuggets of gratitude. Thank you, Mrs. Knowles, for always being there to redirect our courses when we were going off track. Thank you, Mr. Sherman, for greeting us almost every morning at the layover. Thank you, Dean Mortimer, for dealing with the daily stressful task of taking our lunch orders every day and ensuring that everyone was satisfied. Thank you, Ms. Mason, for being the shoulder we can lean on during the tough times and administering helpful advice to us. Thank you, Mr. Knight, for providing your YouTube channel to help us to do well on the tests and exams that we studied for the night before. Speaking about exams, where's that jerk chicken, Mr. Knight? Thank you, Senior Ali Gibson, for being a friend when many of us needed one, and for teaching us the importance of togetherness. Also, thank you for ensuring that none of your Spanish students will be workers at Bubblicious Gum Factory or students of Lakeview High, but rather proud aces. Thank you, Mrs. King Rule, for lending me your colorful pens because you always knew I insisted that my chemistry notes were colorful and organized. Thank you to all our homeroom teachers whom we've encountered over the years. Thank you for teaching us life lessons that we will take with us in every phase of our life. Thank you to the custodians for bearing with us because cleaning up after teenagers every day isn't an easy task. Just ask our parents. I would like to take the time to extend sincere gratitude to my Wendy's and Coca-Cola community for making it possible for me to pursue my education at this remarkable private institution. I will forever be grateful for your generosity. Thank you to my mother, my father, and my big brother for always reminding me that I can do whatever I put my mind to, and that I can be whoever I... and that I can be whoever I want to be, and the best person to be is myself. On behalf of UNMAS 2022, I would like to extend a sincere and special thank you to our parents, teachers, administrators, and all our other support systems for believing in us and being our guides along the way. To you, my fellow class of 2022, I would like to share some closing words of encouragement. We have officially completed an astounding milestone in our young lives. As we leave this ceremony today, we will officially begin a new chapter of our life. Some of us are attending colleges and universities in the fall, while others are planning on entering the professional world. Whatever it is that you choose to do, I pray that you seek God in all things, that you make excellence a habit, that you be kind to yourselves and others, and that you make a positive difference in God's kingdom. Always remember that you are a success. Please repeat after me. I am a success, and I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Parting ways is indeed such sweet sorrow. Some of us may be afraid of the unknown future, and we may feel lost after today. But as the wise C.S. Lewis once said, there are far, far better things ahead than any we leave behind. Go forth, my fellow aces, forge ahead, and light the way. Thank you.
That was very heartfelt, Jade. I felt that in my soul. To bring the vote of thanks, class co-salutatorians, Ms. Jasmine Hanna and Mr. T. Ron Strapp.
The first day here at Aquinas is always a half day.
As seventh graders, excitement, anxiety, and adrenaline were all pumping through our veins. We were naive.
At the end of the year, the class of 2017 were on their last stretch, and it was time for their awards. They would smirk and chuckle at us as our eyes opened wide at the 6 years that awaited us. as they were excited to leave.
We are no longer those minuscule 7th graders. 2022 is here. We are now the ones excited to leave.
Archbishop Patrick Pinder,
Platform guests,
other invited guests,
teachers,
parents,
and the graduating class of 2022, a pleasant morning to all. It gives us distinct pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks today, the last day, as Mr. Sherman assured us many times at grad practice that we will all be together.
I am Tyrone Strapp.
And I am Jasmine Hanna. And we are the co-salutatorians for the class of 2022, unmasked.
Nelson Mandela once said, "It always seems impossible until it's done." And graduates, today, we have truly done it.
We have survived not only dump fires, hurricanes, and a major pandemic,
but the most challenging of them all, almost 8 different English or literature teachers within this 6-year period.
we have toiled, ate, struggled, and fought hard, and like lifelong aces, we still ended up at the top of the deck.
Our class experienced a number of firsts during our time here.
First to take technical drawing as a class in the 9th grade. First to take religion BJC in the 8th grade.
First to be recommended for the electrical installation and auto mechanics BGCSE in the 10th grade.
First to take more than 5 APs in 1 year.
First junior team to travel to places like Australia, Spain, and Connecticut to compete in the World Scholars Cup.
And first to advance to the National Debate Series, conquering 6 schools and competing in the finals. Class of 2022, we have beat the odds and challenged ourselves, earning us a rightful place in the history books.
We endured so many hardships and problems, but we were here to take care of each other through it all.
No matter how many times we would hear the dean's famous, "I know y'all from y'all were in the 7th grade" speech, we stood by each other through thick and thin.
The welcoming environment of Aquinas College that housed us for these past 6 years has encouraged us to pursue our goals.
We continue to push and strive to make excellence our habit, and today, that tree of success has definitely bore fruit.
The welcoming environment, As we celebrate the many achievements of the graduating class of 2022, we start by giving thanks to the Almighty God for allowing us to gather today and for making this occasion a great success.
We would like to thank the graduation committee that has worked hard to make this event possible. To Mr. Sherman, Mr. Mortimer, and Ms. Kelly, who dedicated many hours to ensuring that our graduation was a success, thank you for your unwavering patience, as this task was not an easy one.
To His Grace, Archbishop Pinder, we thank you for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to play such an important role in awarding us with our diplomas after years of hard work and dedication.
To Mrs. Claudette Roll, Director of the Catholic Board of Education, a special thank you goes to you as well, along with the entire board, for all of your unwavering support and encouragement.
To our principal, Mrs. Knowles, we thank you for your outstanding report for the class of 2022.
To Mr. Lambert Longley, we thank you for your presentation, and we know that your words will be a continuous encouragement.
To our guest speaker, Mr. Toot, we thank you for your words of wisdom, which you have imparted on us.
Mr. Johnson, Mr. McPhee, and Mr. Wilson, thank you for your assistance with the audio during practices and this auspicious occasion. Your work has not gone unnoticed.
To our Master of Ceremony, Head Boy for the 2022-2023 school year, Alcrisma DeVoe, thank you for playing such a crucial role in keeping this event on schedule.
To Father Duca and our class president, Kalia Dames, we thank you for blessing this ceremony with God's presence and for asking him to guide and shape the minds of every individual present today.
To the entire administration, along with the office and support staff, thank you for shaping us into strong-minded individuals and preparing us for what is to come. Strong leadership is the foundation of a school's success, and without you, this would have not been possible. Thank you for being such impactful leaders and helping us to truly make excellence a habit by motivating us to strive for success daily.
And to the teachers, you have all played a significant role in preparing us for this global marketplace that we are about to enter. You have taught us many life lessons, values, specialized subject matter, and most importantly, you have pushed us to be the best versions of ourselves.
We can all acknowledge that the immediate job of a teacher is to teach, but you have done so much more than that for us over the past 6 years. Many of you have been open ears when we needed someone to talk to, shoulders when we needed one to cry on, motivational speakers when we were at our lowest, jokes when we needed to laugh, and therapists when we needed advice. To you, we all extend our sincerest gratitude.
Most importantly, we would like to thank our parents and guardians. Your dedication to us over the past 16, 17, 18, and in some rare cases, 19 years of our lives has not been in vain, and is reflected by the many achievements that have been made by this graduating class. You are in fact the pillars of our success. Without you, we would not be where we are today, and for this, we are truly grateful.
To the guests in our midst, thank you for taking the time out of your day to celebrate our accomplishments.
Finally, to our classmates, thank you for making the past 6 years of our lives the most memorable experience ever. Each and every one of you have made an imprint on each other, and through this, we will forever be connected.
Every person mentioned today has played some part in helping us to make it to this very moment.
As we begin our exit from the institution that is Aquinas College, we would like to acknowledge the fact that we appreciate the hard work, time, effort, and dedication that went into our success over these past years.
And for these things, we are forever grateful. Michael Josephson once said, "Take pride in how far you've come.
Have faith in how far you can go, but don't forget to enjoy the journey." Congratulations, class of 2022. We did it. Now go out and unmask new possibilities.
Sorry about that. The senior class of 2022 will now make the following presentations. To Archbishop Pinder, a check for $1,500 from the class of 2022 for the Educational Endowment Fund. Also, he will also receive an original portrait by Aquinas College Art Department and a basket of heavenly produce from the Aquinas College greenhouse. To Father Duker, a basket of heavenly produce from the Aquinas College greenhouse. To Mr. Lambert Longley, a gift certificate from the class of 2022 and a basket of heavenly produce from the Aquinas College greenhouse. To Mrs. Roll, an original portrait painted by the Aquinas College Art Department, and a basket of heavenly produce from the Aquinas College greenhouse. To Mr. Toot, a gift on behalf of the class of 2022. To Mrs. Knowles, a $1,000 check from the class of 2022 to purchase a new camera and screen for the school. Also, a gift on behalf of the class of 2022. To Mr. Sherman, a gift on behalf of the class of 2022. Thank you.
Tall boy, tall. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the ceremony. I invite you to stand for the benediction by Father Jonathan Duca, school chaplain. This will be followed by the alma mater and the procession of the platform guests, teachers, and the graduates. Please remain in your seats until all have left. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
In the name of the Father, the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. We invoke the presence of God. Lord God, your spirit of wisdom fills the earth and teaches us your ways. We acknowledge likewise, Lord, that all human achievement, wisdom, and knowledge have you, God, as our source. Look upon these graduating students. Bless them as they enjoy their acquired learnings and take delight in new discoveries. Bless them to persevere if they take up further studies. And bless them as they face the challenges of life. Also look upon our beloved teachers as they took time to share and impart knowledge with gentle patience and endeavor always to bring the truth to eager minds. Bless these graduating students and teachers alike, that they may follow Jesus Christ, the way, the truth, and the light. Bless the stakeholders of our future, the men and women who nurture and undertake the betterment of the society. Bless them with the spirit of our beloved founder, St. Thomas Aquinas, discerning always before us the ultimate truth. May God teach you his ways and lead you to the joys of his kingdom. And may Almighty God bless you, the Father, the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.